John, you ready?
Yes, sir.
John? Meeting will come to order, please. The notice requirements for the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been satisfied. Would you all turn off electronic equipment? We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Johanna, call the roll, please.
Mayor Becker?
Here.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Here.
Commissioner Blumberg?
I am here.
We have before us for approval the minutes of our September 20th meetings. What is your pleasure?
I'll move accepting the minutes.
I'll second that.
Mayor Becker?
I approve.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
We'll now open for public comment. 3 minutes on any subject you would like to speak about.
Sewell 22 West Drive. Being cognitively impaired, Mayor, you have blocked out the political messages being broadcast by Brigantine's current governing body. Namely, for the past 4 years, by being fiscally responsible and prudent, they have passed 4 property tax reductions. Meanwhile, Mayor, you have averaged $35 million in new tax rateables for each of the last 4 years, and yet not 1 red cent reduction in property taxes. What gives, Mayor? That's a rhetorical question. Where has all this tax
Thank God
revenue
for
been
small
squandered?
papers.
Mayor, think your pet white elephant with a voracious appetite for senior citizen property tax dollars. Think of your cesspool of wretched nepotism and patronage, a dysfunctional school system with a $13.5 million yearly budget for a mere handful of students that could easily and readily be housed in Ross by a low-cost, no-cost repurposing of Ross's 3rd floor. Mayor, your insane procrastination of this move will surely cost taxpayers tens of millions of dollars by not promptly selling Thai and its huge rec fields to the Atlantic Cape Community College. Ocean City wanted to pay $9 million for a mere 1.5 acres. Just imagine what Atlantic Cape would pay for Thai and its large rec fields. Plus, thanks to a pilot program, it would generate revenues year after year, plus greatly stimulate the local economy off-season. Mayor, if you think that by sticking your head in the sand that the Gary Stein case will go away, then you need to adjust your psychotropics. This case is coming down the judicial track at warp speed via an out-of-court settlement. When it's swiftly implemented, you 3 schlemazzles will look like a smack tuchus. Gary Stein's case seeks nothing less than a hostile takeover of our local school system. To say that it will be a total disaster is only half of it. When property taxpayers realize assets worth tens of millions have been forever expropriated, you 3 Hilalias won't be able to be elected dog catcher. Mayor, if you can't or won't begin preparation for the inevitable fiasco about to descend upon Margate, then direct Giovanni to do what needs to be done ASAP.
That's you.
There's far too much at stake to dawdle in an addled state of inaction. Mayor, stop being fiscally irresponsible. Margate taxpayers deserve far better. Emulate the Republicans in Brigantine. 4 tax cuts in 4 straight years. Thank you.
You practiced well, John. You were right on. Could you leave me your notes? I like the way they look, John. If you, and the other ones that you were reading from.
Oh, Mayor, it's all up in the head.
That's scary too, John.
That's very scary.
Schlemazel. Schlemazel. That's what he called us, schlemazzles.
What is it? What does that mean, John? No, go ahead, John. I was just kidding. Is there any other public comment on any subject?
Steve Warner, 103 North Sumner Avenue. I just want to make a comment. I don't know how many people were around on Saturday morning in the lower end of Margate. Actually, it's spilled into Saturday afternoon. Boy, that was some nasty water down there. And I'm not going to criticize anybody. I don't think anybody deserves to be criticized. But, I mean, we got to think about how to, if this is going to happen more often, then something's got to be done long-term as far as bulkheading or I don't know what. But, boy, that water really came. And I happened to be like around Washington and Monmouth. And in a 15-minute period, it's like 6 inches of deeper water down there. It was incredible. And that wasn't rainwater. I guess that was coming from the bay, I'm guessing, and that was some wild stuff. I mean, I think we have to, as a governing body, you got to think about it a little bit. What can be done long term? I mean, not this week, not next week, but long term, what can be done?
Steve, we've been working on it vigilantly. Trust me.
Okay, I trust you. But that was some wild stuff, I'll tell you. Out of nowhere, really. All right, that's all.
Thank you, Steve. Anyone else, public comment?
See, John makes Luke come up.
Luke Duff, 405 North Douglas Avenue. I just want to thank the city for their presence last night for Halloween. I would like to maybe possibly recommend moving it to last Friday or last Saturday of October. I know it's like a special event in the national calendar, so it's not a federal holiday, and I think each municipal body is allowed to celebrate it as they see fit. Just with the schools, I know the kids were a little off the wall today, and they're always dragging the next day. But maybe we'll cut down on some of the other traffic also coming
Good
in
point.
and out.
Good point.
Just an idea.
Good
I
point.
know you guys are
I
dealing
think
with.
we might have done that when I was a kid. I think that we might have done that when I was a kid, that we would trick or treat on the weekends. Yeah. So it's not like we haven't done it before, right, Joanna? You remember that?
Right. I do.
When you were a kid?
It was a long time ago.
I can't remember that far back.
And with the water issues, I mean, I think the reality of the matter is we do live on an island, and you're not going to stop the water coming up from the ground. I mean, that was a crazy event. We had the full moon, we had the high tide, and we had massive amounts of rain. I think you guys did a nice job with the city with that. I mean, there's only so much you can do with the water, so good job there. And interesting idea with the bulkhead area there with Lamberti's. I'm not exactly sure what that all entails, but it sounds like an interesting idea to save some money there.
Thank you.
Any questions you have? You know where we all are, you don't have to do it here.
How is that work? Like, they would get the structure, and would the city still own the land, or would you be passing the land to? I was just curious how that.
Where the may I?
Go ahead.
Where the existing building is, that is actually a street.
Okay, I got it.
And that was developed by the city many years ago. What would happen is the exact profile of the existing building would be vacated as a street in exchange for his ownership of that building, which the city owns right now because it's on city property. His intent is to tear it down and put a new building up. He would do 588-foot total of bulkhead, which is actually his whole property. Is he owns that marina.
Right, the whole marina.
And that marina is 588 foot, and there's 3 accesses to that marina within that 588 foot. One from his restaurant deck platform, one from the north side, and one from the south. So it's almost consistent with the fact that we're engaged in an 18-year lease left that was consummated many years ago, and we receive $500 a year for that lease. So it would get us out of that lease. He would take ownership of that vacation, that part of the street. He would build an entire bulkhead in front of his building and the rest of his marina. And in essence, if the city was to replace that bulkhead, it would be over $800,000.
And you'd have to pay him for the removable and all this other stuff. So it's
And then
actually getting.
and we'd still be engaged in a $500 a year lease for the next 18 years,
Right.
where it allows him to do what he wants to do with his property, and then it takes the liability away from the city. So it's been in the works, just so that the public knows, for several years, but hard negotiations have gone on for probably the last year, year and a half, where the thoughts came from his side and from our side, and we've worked pretty consistently, Mayor Becker, Commissioner Blumberg, myself, Richard Deeney, and above all Scott, because he has the legal expertise to guide us in the right direction. And I think it's a win-win for the city. It's, again, our goal is to change that whole front bay, to modernize it. Those buildings, Captain Andy's was condemned, it was falling in. It's just a shame we're in a lawsuit now, and we're waiting for the outcome of that, which we're hoping that we can proceed and keep moving forward, have all new marinas there. It's
Yeah.
going to be a beautiful part of the town.
Almost like a Main Street area.
And the master plan had designed in there this promenade, which is going to be a little elevated, maybe 3 foot above where the parking areas are now. And it's going to have rails on both sides, and it's going to be 8 to 10 foot wide in areas, mostly 8 foot wide. And it's going to be an open area where, you know, if that water park goes through, it's going to bring people
More
there.
revenue, yeah, absolutely. Now, would that, just curious, would that create more of a tax revenue if he now owns that property?
That
I
property,
thought so. I was just curious.
property goes back, will go on the tax rolls when it's finished.
Right, exactly. All right, great idea. Thank you.
Okay, good, thank you.
Mike, John, if I might add, you might have said it, but I didn't hear it. We're also, part of that ordinance will gain us 24 parking spots in his lot. So, again, that, I think that's another added benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Anyone?
thanks, Maury, I didn't mention it.
Brian Duffy, 312 North Claremont Avenue. I just want to quickly say, out front here, where there was just a big old block for 18 years since Party Pack was gone, they finally beautification, they put the flowers up there. It looks awesome. So every day I walk by there, I'm like, man, what is this? And now you got some really nice flowers, and keep that up. That's really, and that's part of the town. We want to make this town a beautiful place where our kids are proud to be, you know, from, and I really like that. The last commission meeting, I think Commissioner Blumberg, we had briefly said something, we were talking on the side about the parking situation. And with, especially the Bayfront there, a lot of those spaces, people come down for the weekend, they pull their car in, and they don't move that car until the end of the weekend, where that space could be utilized in other manners, like if we had, they had to pay a fee to park there. A simple, fee or permit or something that they could do to, I don't know if that's an option.
We have talked about it primarily. We haven't come to any decision yet,
Yeah.
Brian, but we will address that. We're
Yeah,
aware
I
of that.
just think that if the cars are moving to and from, especially if the possibility of the water park comes up. And I think also, like Nick was talking last time about the promotions of the town, promoting just walking and getting out there and riding your bikes and being more active in the community. Park your car and it's a walkable town. It's only 1.5 miles long. It's a great place to live. And then I'm gonna put my fireman hat on real quick. Chief Adams and I were just talking. We had a little bit of a cold snap this week, and I would recommend, put it on record, that people should go check their outside faucets, their outside showers. Check, if they do not live here year-round, shut their water off, because every year, that first 20-degree night comes. And
Real
by
quick.
about 11, 12 o'clock that next day, we're out all day running calls for water leaks. And
I
it's
see.
millions of
Brian, I
dollars.
see Dawn writing, so I think it's already taken care of.
Yeah.
Am I right, correct? Okay,
So, just something to think about. Thanks a lot.
thank you.
Public input's always good.
Anyone else? Is there a motion to close public comment?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Mayor Becker,
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo,
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg.
Yes.
we will now open public comment on resolutions. Is there any public comment on the resolutions listed on the agenda? Is there a motion to close public?
I'll move to close public comment.
Second?
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
Johanna?
May I have a motion for the introduction of ordinance number 25, 2018, an ordinance providing for the vacation of a portion of Amherst Avenue subject to compliance with conditions by adjoining property owner?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
May I have a motion for resolution number 218, 2018?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
May I have a motion for resolution 219, 2018, authorizing payment to Colmar?
So moved.
Second?
Mayor Becker?
I abstain.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
May I have a motion for resolution number 220, 2018, authorizing transfer of budget appropriations?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
May I have a motion for the consent agenda, which consists of resolutions number 221, 2018 through 230, 2018?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
Anything else?
That's it.
Thank you, Johanna. There being no other business, is there a motion for adjournment?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
Thank you all for being here.